All right, today we're going to dive into a really powerful piece of theater. It's a one-act play by Tom Erb called The Battery, and it takes what seems like a perfectly quiet, normal evening in a park and just turns it completely upside down with this incredible collision between the past and the present. I mean, really, the whole play hinges on this one amazing question. What if history wasn't just something you read about in a book? What if it could literally show up right in front of you while you're just trying to enjoy an evening out? So the play kicks off with this line from our main character, Diana, and it just perfectly sets the mood. We're in Charleston, South Carolina, at the historic Battery Park. And this is not just any park, right? This is the very spot where the Civil War began. You can almost feel the history in the air. It feels ancient, peaceful, and totally normal. But that's all about to change.
But before history itself literally crashes the party, there's a much more personal story going on, and believe me, it has its own massive stakes.
Okay, so let's meet our modern couple. You've got Diana Cole, a history teacher. She knows this city, she knows the ground she's standing on, inside and out. Then there's Marcus Hayes. He's a civil engineer, the guy who's literally building the city's future. Its bridges, its roads, right on top of all that past. It's a fascinating dynamic, isn't it? One of them is digging into the past, the other is building over it.
And Marcus is here with a plan. He's got a ring in his pocket. It's this huge symbol of their future together, of love, of building something new. And he's chosen this spot, a place just soaked in the nation's history, to ask the most forward-looking question you can ask. So Marcus is just about to say something, he's building up to it, and then, bam! That whole carefully planned moment just gets completely obliterated. Because in this play, the past doesn't just whisper, it explodes right into the present. Suddenly, there's a sound like the air itself is ripping apart. The play calls it a wound in space, which is such a great image. And two men just fall out of it. And these aren't ghosts or anything. They're real, they're flesh and blood, covered in mud, with bayonets out, still trying to kill each other in a battle that ended 163 years ago.
So who are these guys? One is Corporal James Whitfield, a Union soldier from Philadelphia. The other is Private Samuel Holt, a Confederate soldier. And he's actually from a big-name Charleston family. And get this. They have been yanked straight out of the last day of the Battle of Gettysburg, July 3rd, 1863.
The shock is just total. For James, the Union guy, he sees cars, streetlights, modern clothes. It's like he's on another planet. But for Samuel, the Confederate soldier, it's somehow even deeper. He recognizes the harbor, the buildings. He realizes he's home. And then Diana tells him the date. And in that one moment, it all hits him. The war is over. And his side lost.
Okay, so this is where the story shifts. It goes beyond the cool sci-fi idea and becomes this incredibly raw human drama. This is about having the conversations that history just never gave people a chance to have.
And this is the question that just drives the rest of the play. What happens when history stops being about dates and battles in a textbook and starts being a person you can talk to and argue with right in front of you?
This is where Diana, as a history teacher and a descendant of enslaved people, really shines. She uses her knowledge like a surgeon's scalpel. She forces Samuel, the Confederate soldier, to actually connect the dots between the beautiful life he was fighting to defend and the enslaved people whose labor made that life possible.
But it's not a one-sided thing. James, the Union soldier, has his own painful wake-up call. When he talks to Marcus, when he sees the successful, free black man, he's forced to look at his own prejudices. He realizes that even though he was fighting on the right side of the war, he still carried some of that same poison inside him.
And that's what's so crucial here. This isn't a history class. It becomes intensely personal. The big grand idea of the war breaks down into memories of individual people. Samuel thinks about Celia, the enslaved woman who practically raised him. James thinks about his wife and child back home. History stops being about armies and starts being about people.
So in the middle of all these profound, heavy conversations, that portal, it starts to pulse. It's getting ready to close. And that forces an absolutely impossible choice on these two soldiers.
I mean, think about that choice. Do you stay here, in this confusing future where you have no one and nothing, or do you go back to your own time, but now you're armed with this devastating new knowledge about the world you were fighting for? The stakes are just unbelievably high.
And Samuel's decision here shows a complete transformation. He doesn't go back to try and win the war. He goes back because he finally accepts the ugly truth of his world, and he feels a responsibility to go back and try to dismantle it from the inside, starting with his own family. It is an incredible character arc.
James's choice is different, but it's just as profound. For him, the future has a name, Catherine, his wife. His duty isn't to change the course of history, it's to get back to his own personal future, to his family. That's the anchor that pulls him back.
So after this completely insane, history-bending encounter, how do you possibly just go back to normal?
And just like that, they step back through, the portal seals up, and they're gone. The park is quiet again, there's just the normal sound of the city at night, and two people, Marcus and Deanna, standing there trying to process what on earth they just saw.
And in that quiet, with the weight of all that history hanging in the air, Marcus finally asks his question. But it's different now. It's not just a proposal anymore. It's like a statement. It's a declaration of life, of choosing the future right in the face of a past that feels so incredibly present.
The play ends right where it began, with a ring. But now, that little circle of metal means so much more. It's a promise to build a future, not by ignoring the past, but by being fully aware of the complicated, messy ground you're building it on. It's a true act of hope.
This play really leaves you with a lot to chew on. It's a reminder that history isn't just a bunch of facts. It's a long story of human choices. And it kind of leaves you with this question for yourself. If you had the chance, if you could ask the past just one thing, what would you ask?
And that's our explainer on Tom Erb's The Battery. It's a play that makes a powerful case that the conversation we have with our own past, well, it's never really over. Thanks for joining us.